Am I live? Is this live? I assume I'm live. Just gonna wait a couple seconds here. All right, we got two. I'm gonna wait just a minute, and I'm gonna jump in and just get started. This will be recorded for anyone afterwards, so not everyone's here. That's fine. Not a big deal. To be honest, I'm not good with this streaming thing, so if I don't know how to do multiple things at once, it may be better if I had two screens, but we'll see what happens. Are we still streaming? Can you guys still see me? I'm not real positive. All right, I see. I'm just going to go ahead and get started. And those of you guys watching later, you can watch later. Not a big deal. All right, so let's jump into this. All right, so this is inventory. I posted a couple of videos that IO posted, so I didn't want to have to go over like all the really simple things to do, adding descriptions and all that stuff. We all should be able to figure that out. It's pretty self-explanatory, but I wanted to go over some other features that you may want to use, especially as you grow. Um, some that I'm still working on implementing, but well, anyway. So what we're going to start with, one of the things we'll talk about is the couple ways you can do like complex items. There's two ways of doing it that I'm aware of, and the primary difference is going to be like how it shows up in a packing list or on your invoice, depending on what you do. But anyway, all right, let's just jump in. So here we're at the inventory screen. You can add inventory with this button, or you can do the drop down and you have all these here. I usually just do add inventory or add accessory. Sometimes I add a vendor item, but the rest of it I don't really touch too much. The consumables will be your cotton candy supplies or something like that. Real simple. Um, Most of the stuff you can do just by clicking add inventory, except for the accessory. Accessory you have to do separate, but the add inventory can be changed into any of this stuff. So anyway, we'll go into this one, and what I'm going to do to kind of show you some of the features, we're going to go through how to build like a multiple piece item. I have a 3-piece obstacle course that I can run out each piece individually or build a couple separate units out of that. So I'm going to use that as kind of my basis because it seemed like several people are having a hard time with it. And it took me a couple hours to figure it out, but I think I understand it now. I did mine in the old IO when I first did it, so I wasn't real sure, but now I think I got it. So we're going to show the advanced. I always do everything in advanced mode because I want access to everything. Um, I'm just going to title this our first one. We're just going to say 3-piece obstacle course. Okay. Doesn't matter. I just want to know that this is going to be my 3 pieces, all 3 pieces. That's what I'm just kind of making it so I know. Whenever you're titling this stuff, um, I don't know that I really am a big fan of the huge cutesy names, whatever. I just kind of call it what it is, whatever the manufacturer calls it. But some of them, like if I have a primary colored bounce house, I call it the Jumping Jacks bounce house because that's a search term in my area. So it's got my company name and a bounce house with it. So that's just one more page that will rank. So that's some things to consider. But it's the name. We can put a quantity of 1. It's not consumable. You can put the manufacturer and model in there if you want to. That could help with insurance reports, but I don't always put that in there. Sometimes I do. I don't know that I do it. Here's the really cool thing is you can go through, I don't have multiple pages set up, or you can put things in multiple categories. So like a bounce house, you could put in the bounce house section, or a combo. You can put in the bounce house section and the slide section at the same time. You don't have to pick one or the other. I loved whenever that feature came out because, I don't know if any customers looking for what a combo is. So I like to put them all underneath bounce house. But at the same time, everybody looking for a slide may not want the big slide. They may just want a bounce house with a slide and just be just as happy with it. So I put all my stuff like that, multiple categories. For this one, we're just going to put obstacle course and add it in because, you know what? I would normally put an obstacle course, but I want to be able to delete it later. So I'm just going to create a new category here. And then that way I'm not messing. This is my live account, so I don't want to mess with something and accidentally put something where my customers see it and try to book something I don't have. Okay, so these here are my optional fields that I built. YouTube used to not be mobile friendly if you link to a YouTube account, and I had some code that I would put in here so that it would be. I've been told that's been fixed, so this is no longer necessary. I'm not even going to touch on that really. The short description, let me show you kind of what the short description does. That's an optional field that I put in, and it goes... It puts all this here would normally be a description and would normally be something down here or down here somewhere. I don't know where the new stuff puts it. Everyone does something a little bit differently, but it bumps it right up to the top on a computer screen, lets them read a little bit something, puts this a little further down. However you feel about that. See, I just realized I got to fix something. But anyway, so I want people to read this part first before they see the add to cart. But anyway, that's where that short code comes in. I like to have that up there. I have an image alt text for SEO purposes, I'm told. I don't know much about SEO. You're going to ask them about it, but you can put an SEO. These are pre-built in, and you can say, I think you have alt text 1, 2, and 3. So that really helps with that, but it's a hidden field on your website. And then you add the image. I don't have any of this, so I'm not going to add it. And then your regular description. We'll just add in one. Just make this up as I go. This is probably closer to, since it's all 3 pieces. And anyway, so we don't have any relationship to this price. I'm not going to worry about a pricing. We know how to add pricing. You can set that up however you want to. And then the packing list. So the packing list, how I usually do that is I will do, my basic stuff that goes to on every job. So an extension cord or your blower could go in here. I set those up as accessories so I can keep inventory of them and know when I'm getting low, so I know if I need to buy more. But if you're not someone that needs to do that, then you can just throw it in here. We'll just pretend I don't. Whoops. We'll just go. And then it doesn't matter. It goes to all services, so we're just going to do that. I'm going to go just keep this real simple. Blower. If you want a tarp, it doesn't really matter to me. You can go steaks. Whoops. Yeah, I think they get like something like that, and you can pick grass allow steaks, and then you can. Wonder how I move on to the next one. Ah, there it goes. And then we can say, I don't know. I'm, you can basically do this and all these other ones however you want to do it. Let's see. All, whatever. Okay, so now we did that. The accessories, like let's touch this a little bit. So I show advanced, and I have done a video on this, but I tend to have one blower for every inflatable with only a couple extras, not too many. It's probably not the best way to run, but that's what I do. So, like 4th of July and Halloween, I may be low on blowers, and I need to know if I need to order more or stop taking bookings. So I will set up accessories for my blowers and then put in how many I require, link the quantity so that if there's 3 of the same item, then I know I need 3 blowers taken out of inventory. Same thing with extension cords. I should probably be better about doing that, but I don't. Until I get there, this is what I'm doing. Until then, I just throw it up here. Or if you're not doing that. Okay, if you want to do separate upselling, like specifics, this will show. I don't know if this will show on mine. Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't because if you use IO code, it won't show up in your website stuff. But Elementor code, I mean. But you can say you want to throw in, a slide. You can just pick out your slide because someone may like that. If you want to do a bounce house, throw in a couple of those, not a big deal. Okay, so if you have something that takes a separate vehicle, you can set that all up in here. If it takes a different time based, like my rock wall, I do time based, and so I believe that's time based. So what that does is someone could rent the rock wall if someone wants the say a project grad is from 10 p.m. to like 8 a.m. They don't have to have the rock wall for 10 hours. They could have it just for the 3 hours, and it'll price it accordingly for that item, not for the entire night, because that would get really expensive. Um, and so we do that. If you require an additional deposit, you can do that, and it can be a dollar amount or a percentage. If you got to pay someone to do it, you can say you pay your guys a contractor amount, you can put in the amount that you pay for that job, and it kind of helps you do payroll if you have the workers module. You can restrict it whether you want to not allow people to do any of this. Some people may want that for specific items, but not all items. How much the replacement cost is. If it takes 2 vehicles, so like my rock wall, it takes a separate vehicle from everything else because I can't do much of anything else with it. If I want to set a recovery time, so would be great if say you don't want to flip things so fast. You don't want say a bounce house going out for 3 hours in the morning and then turn around too quickly for that afternoon. You could set this recovery time, and that will say you put 12 hours in or 24 hours. It won't let anyone else book it within that time frame, so that you have time to clean it up or whatever you want to do in between. The shared items are things that you may have with specific companies or the entire IO universe. These are the things that you can choose to share with other people underneath that shared option. If you have vendors that you work with, so these are some vendors I work with. I can say that this is a vendor item if the item takes whatever. So we get all this stuff. If you're setting up an accessory or even the regular item, you can say where it shows up and where it doesn't. That's pretty nifty if you're setting up accessories and don't want them to all show up. My mechanical bull has a bunch of accessories, but I don't want them all to show up. So only certain things do. And then you can come down here to cost history. You can say that on February 2nd, we paid I don't even know what the price is on these anymore. Now this is really cool because it'll keep track of how many times you rent it out, what the cost is you rent it out for, and what your return on it is. So you can apply safety topics. So you have inflatable, and this will, you can assign those to your employees and stuff. So these are pre-built in IO. Not everyone uses the safety training, but I think more and more people are. I know I am. Your extra contract details, you can put in code into your contracts that will actually, like your dunk tank, you may have a little extra detail in it, or a rock wall or a mechanical bull specifically. You can put that in, and when someone rents that, it'll add that detail to the contract that may not apply to your inflatables. You know what I mean? You can do operating instructions. This can either email to your workers or to your customer and tell them how they operate. I do this for my inflatables because most of the time when they staff it themselves. And then an inspection checklist that your guys you can print off and have your guys look over every time it's set up. Okay, so that's the basics, but let's talk about optional fields. Another optional field that I'm doing. In this extra details, I skipped over, I have an item number. I'm starting to do my inventory with item numbers. I don't have it quite set up yet, but I can take this field, put in a number here, and then go into my packing list or anything else I want, and put the item number next to it. Ideally, that's going to let my guys find things easier. It'll kind of it won't matter what the names of things are for the customer side. My guys will just know based on the number. I know a lot of people do inventory where they say the hundreds are bounce houses, the 200s are combos, the 300s are slides, and whatever. So then you can come up with a system, put it in this item number, and put that pretty much everywhere your employees see it and not where your customers see it. So that's pretty cool. Working on that. This notes section, I use this to write in a brief teardown description for my packing list. So when my guys go to tear it down, they can see a packing list deal. So that's really cool. I'm thinking I'm going to do one where I do this field here, and I can put a QR code image in there, and then when they do it, they can just scan the QR code and watch a video. That's going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to setting all that stuff up. It may not be this year, but that's just some ideas that you may want to look into. You cannot do that with this, but you can do it with an optional field. So this is like a long whatever. We'll talk about optional fields in the future. Okay, so let's get back to setting up this obstacle course. We're going to do it with relationships on this one. So we say that one's good. We're just going to go through and build every piece that we want to do. So add inventory. I'm just going to do this stuff really quick because we already went through some of that. The optional fields were the big things that I wanted you guys to see, because that is where I think some of us could really use the optional fields in this and really do a lot of neat things with it. I'd like to know if you guys have ideas similar to those, like that QR code idea. It'd be great. So that QR code, you'd have to upload the video to your website, but not you can do that without making it public, and it'd still just take them to a website, and it would work. Okay, so we add the 2 pieces. We're going to add all 3 pieces. Holy cow. I'm just, like I said, doing this part real quickly, because this is something I saw a lot of people were having trouble with. And so there's a couple ways of doing this, and I'll show you what the difference is in doing it the 2 different ways. here in a second, as soon as we finish adding these little pieces in. Title that differently so I know that what I'm doing with it, because I have one that's a slide. I'm sure most people do. All right, so let's make sure we got all the options in there that we got. So I can type in over here and choose the rental category. That's where I put it all. And now I have my 3-piece, my 2-piece, and those you could do 2-piece A and 2-piece B, whatever you want to do. I don't really, it doesn't really matter. It all ends up being the same. So, okay, let's see if I get this right. I gotta. Okay, so we're gonna go in, and I'm just gonna choose in my relationships. Let's see. Nope, that wasn't right. Screw that. Thanks, buddy.
No.
Hey, I'm doing a video real quick. Okay? Did you break it?
It was down on my tablet.
Mm. Okay, there we go. We're gonna add to the 3-piece all these other pieces. So let's see. They're all childhood. That one, this one here, going into the 2-piece now, and I'm gonna say the 2-piece is made of this one and this one. Okay. So now what that says is anytime that this piece goes out, it's going to take both of those and and not this one. Okay. And then you're going to go in the 3-piece. It's already got this, and you're going to say it takes up. I already have A in the slide, so I just need B. And that should have it all set up. So these should all be linked together, where this one is set up to be that and those. And the 2-piece should be the others. And then whenever you go to your website, let's see. Whenever I was doing this earlier, it was kind of messing up a little bit. But see, now I have all 3 pieces in here. There's no pictures of pricing because I didn't put any in. But I should be able to book one of these. Let's go with, if I book this one, I should still be able to do the 2-piece. So let's just, check it out. Here, I'm not going to actually book it. I'm just going to go in here and maintenance mode it. Anyways, I have it set right now where it hides what it's not available. So now these are what is available. So you can get the two piece, which would take these. You can get the one piece, or either one of those pieces, but it makes the other one, the 35, the 95 foot or the three piece obstacle course, unavailable because that one piece was gone. So now it all works. They're all tied together. That's the relationship side of it. So the other option here that you can do, so what that does is that if whenever you build the pieces out, here's where the downside is. Let me show you this. This is pretty in depth, probably. Is whenever you're building your, say your three piece, your packing list, you're going to want to also put in, okay, so this is the packing list. It imported all the others. You're also going to want to put in each of the three pieces. That way your guys know which pieces they're grabbing. So that it doesn't manually do this. You have to just type it in because, it doesn't matter. But then your packing list will actually show that to your guys, hey, I need one piece A, one piece B, and the slide. Okay, so then it all groups it together and it works fantastic. So the downside of this method is that each one of these counts in your inventory. Okay, so now you have five pieces or five inventory that's three. Okay, I hope I'm making sense. I'm not watching the chats in case anyone's trying to chat with me. So sorry, I'll look at them afterwards. But I hope that's making sense. I hope what's going on. So that's five. The other alternative is you can make these. I'm going to disconnect them as they are. Give me 1 second. Disconnecting them kind of is weird. Probably should have done the two first. Okay, so the alternative is you can build this and this into a package, and I could be wrong on this. Okay, I could be wrong, but if you make these a package, then you only count these three as inventory, and this does not. Okay, so what you would do to make a package is, say the three-piece one, you would just go into accessories, show advance. You're just going to say one piece, and you're going to, it requires one, link quantity. Okay. So we're just going to go through and add each of those pieces to it. All right. So now I have all those rentals are an accessory of it, making this a package. So now we're going to go out of it. You can see this three-piece is supposed to be a package. Anyway, pretty sure it is a package. And then you can do the same thing with this one, only listing out the parts that go with it. I'm linking the quantity, so say I have like five of the same or two of the same three-piece obstacle courses, then I can build two of these, Okay. If I'm wrong on these being packages and inventory counts and whatever, Tim can let you know for sure, or Lee maybe. But I'm pretty sure that that's what happens on my own testing, but I'm not positive. I'm not sure why that's not changing to a yes. it, there may be something more to it. But so now I'm building the exact same thing. If any one of these is taken, then it's going to mark that as unavailable. If any one of the accessories of this is taken, then it's going to mark it unavailable. And it does the same thing. But here's where the packing list will show up a little bit differently. This is a package I have. It's built a little bit differently, but this item will not show because you don't have that set up. This right here would be your one piece A, and then you get a second one, and then you get any of the packing list items that you have with that, and then you get another one that says one piece B or slide, and the packing list items that go with that, and that's how it would show up underneath 3-piece or 2-piece obstacle course. So you could fill all that in. Whereas the other way, it would say, with the relationships, it would say 3-piece obstacle course, and it would say 3 blowers, 12 stakes, and it would show this stuff, and then you'd have to manually go in and add the 3 pieces. I think that's the main difference, how it shows up. But those are 2 different ways to do that. I think that's about all I got. Those are the complicated things with inventory. It's really not that bad once you kind of get used to messing with it. The pricing. The pricing is pretty easy. The conditional pricing, you can either charge days of the week, can be differently. You can do customer type is differently, and the delivery type. I'm not sure what. I don't know what that means. I've never messed with that. Maybe someone needs that, but I don't know. So you can do that. Eventually, they're going to do it a little bit differently. I hope. I need them to for my pricing, but that's the gist of it. This here you can make, it shows you in the video, you can add as many days as you want, or many, you can say per 3 hours or whatever, and then you can change this to say until 8 hours, and then you can do another price, That's in the other videos. I hope that helps with some stuff, gives you some ideas. The big thing was the relationships and the accessories, and then that optional field. If you're looking into using QR codes for training stuff, and going by item number. It's not a very long one, so I hope that helps. If you have any questions or want to know more, I'm not going to do a Zoom on this, I don't think. If you guys say in the comments that you want to, then we may doesn't do it, but Forrest asked if the teardown and setup time stack with the padding time. It stacks. I believe it stacks. I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't really use the recovery time because the teardown time is saying, hey, it takes me 20 minutes to tear it down, but the recovery time is just saying the item is not available until 12 hours after the event's over. So if it stacks, it's only by 15, 30 minutes, however long. It's not like you're going to get to the exact hour on that, so or minute. I hope that helps out. I don't really know how some of their algorithms work, so that'd be a question for them. I haven't messed with that. Did that help you out, Forrest, with the relationships and some of the other stuff? Is there something I needed to go over that I didn't? Um, you could do a 1 hour recovery time. Um, let's go back and look at some of this. I'd say you could, but you probably want to leave this blank then. Or so yeah. that's gonna be something you're probably going to test out. That's not something I really have too much involved in because I didn't write the code. I just know what I've experienced, and I haven't ever used the recovery time because I set my rental times for so long that I don't generally rent out again. I don't flip very often to worry about it. That's going to be a hindrance on how me answering the questions for you on the flipping items. But you could probably test it out. Just put one in and see what happens, and then go back the other way. All right. Well, I'm gonna get off. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to PM me or ask in the groups. Someone's gonna know. See ya.